Have you ever wondered what it takes to win client for your IT services? How much time you need to invest to pursue the client to buy from you? If yes, today I will answer those questions. Additionally, I will get much deeper into the subject of buyer process. So this will give you much better understanding what you need to do to win the client and sell more IT services. Hello everyone, my name is Adam Skoneczny and you are watching Go Global Asia podcast. Last 8 years I've been living in Asia, and for last 6 years I've been helping Asian IT companies expand globally. In this podcast I am talking about everything related to global expansion, sales and collaboration with foreign clients. Hello everyone, welcome back, welcome from my hometown. I am still in Poland and I'm still recording for you from my home where I was born and raised. I'm really glad to be back here. However, I'm pretty, let's say, freezing because it's extremely cold here in Poland. It's one of the coldest May I ever experienced in my life, seriously. So I'm not really happy about that. I'm looking forward to go back to Vietnam next week. I will be back in Vietnam, and next week I will be recording for you from our new studio. So you can expect coming back to the studio. You can expect better background, and you can also expect, as usually, very good content. Guys, what we will be talking today is about the whole buying process. We will get deep into understanding the specific step that the buyer is taking to get ready to buy from you. Because selling IT services, it's something what I call high ticket sell. High ticket sell is basically selling product or service which is very high price. Let's say starting from $10,000 and up. When we are exposed to this kind of environment where we buy something very expensive, we will take much more time to make decision, first of all. Second, we will do multiple different steps to make sure that the decision what we are making is correct. So for instance, we'll do some research, we will talk to the friend, we will check online, we will go to one bank, another bank, so on and so forth. And for IT industry, there is the specific number of the steps that your buyer will take and specific number of information they will look. So if you can provide them those information, if you can guide them through those steps, you have very high chance they will perceive you as an expert and they will buy from you. So this is very important to understand this buyer process and the steps that are taken. Second, what I need to share with you is about the time, how long it's taking. And guys, it really depends, obviously, who are you selling to and what you are selling. There are multiple different IT outsourcing services. We have a time and material, we have a ODC, we have a project base, so on and so forth. So then we have also many different type of the companies. We have a startup, we have a SMEs, we have a corporates. Obviously for corporates it will take much longer time than for the startup. But what I can tell you, on average, sales of the IT services is taking around 3 months. Okay, so the whole process from the moment that the client meet you until the day that you close the contract and start the delivery, it's on average 3 months. So I already answered one of the main questions, how long it takes. And if you are the person who most of the life experience working with the partners, your friends, and they bring you the client, and after 2 weeks you already signed the contract, and then you shifting to the setting up the sales and the sales process, then you need to consider that the time that will take to close the deal, it's much longer. It will be around 3 months. So keep it in mind, because you need to be patient. You cannot give up after 2 weeks and say it doesn't work, because it doesn't make sense. What you apply into your partnership or networking business strategy or sales strategy, it will not apply for different strategy like cold LinkedIn campaign or cold email campaign. So when we have this point already clear, you keep in mind it will take 3 months. Let's move on to the point number 2, which is buyer journey. So first of all, let me tell you what is the buyer process or buyer journey. You can hear me from time to time I use those terms interchangeably, but basically they mean the same thing. They mean that steps that the buyer will do before they will make decision to buy from you. And usually you have 4 main stages or step in the buyer journey. However, I divided it for 5 main stages, and let me guide you through those stages. So stage number 1 is the time when client became aware of the problem. So we call it awareness stage. In this stage, basically client realized, oh, there is something wrong. And in this stage, the client would start researching about the problem itself. How the client became aware? Usually they come to the conclusion by themselves. From time to time, their employee can tell them, or their client can give them feedback, and they can understand, okay, something going wrong. From time to time, even market can show them that they have a problem. What do I mean? It's basically the situation that happened in 2022 in Japan, where the exchange rate between Japanese currency and Vietnamese currency changed significantly, and all IT companies from Vietnam lost their profits. So that's mean the markets give them signal, okay, guys, there is something wrong. If you are 100% focused on one market, then now you have a problem. And then they became aware and they start researching. They go to the Google, they type in looking for the information, what other people doing, they looking for information if maybe their market will change. They looking information about how this can affect their business, so on and so forth. So this is stage number 1. Second stage, it's called problem research. And this is the stage that I add in to the standard buyer journey. Why? Because I noticed that the awareness of the problem and problem research, I would like to separate them, because the way that the client is proceeding through those stages is a little bit different. In awareness stage, the client is kind of in shock and they looking for just general information. They try and figure out what happened, why this happened. But then in the problem research, they know actually what is the problem and they want to get much deeper into it. They want to figure out if the other companies, they have the same problem. They want to get to the root of the problem. So the mindset of the people who already are aware of the problem and researching about it is completely different than awareness. Why this is important? Because in this phase, when the people researching about the problem, for the marketers or for the salespeople, it's much easier to approach them. It's much easier to give them the information that they're looking for. In awareness stage, there are still, like I said, they are a little bit in the shock. So they don't know really what they should look for. Most of the cases, they will be talking with their friends and asking them, like, do you have the same problem? What you do in this? But then if they understand the problem, they will look for another source of information. And this is the place where we can approach them and provide them our information. Stage number 3, consideration. In this stage, client will look for the options they have to solve the problem. So if they're looking, let's say, for the global expansion, so they will look for the sales agent, they will look for marketing agency, they will looking for the setting up internal team, they will looking for consulting company, maybe they will look for merchant acquisition. If the client building software, they will look for maybe freelancer, they will look for the hiring internal team, they will look for the IT offshoring, they will look for IT nearshoring or onshoring, they will compare all of those options. And this is amazing stage to connect with the client and basically share with him, provide him or feed him with the information and show them what is the client options and also show them what are pros and cons of each option. I can give you here one tip. If you approach client in this phase and you share with the client information and you are kind of biased, you kind of try push the client to your solution, they will feel it. So try to be neutral, try to be like advisor, and then client will really appreciate, and what is more important, they will trust you. Next is a decision-making stage, and this is the stage that most of us are aware. It's the place where the client is looking for the pricing, it's looking for the service provider, they're looking for the different type of the companies that can provide this service. So let's assume that the client is looking for the software solution, already decide he want to do offshoring. So now he will be looking few companies, let's say in Vietnam, in Argentina or wherever other offshore location, and then they will be comparing them. They will be doing interview, they will be checking proposals and things like that. This stage is something that most of salespeople are familiar with. This is the stage where the kind of real sales is happening, when we negotiating, when we creating proposals. In this stage, it's important to understand the pain points, understand that what motivate the client to get there, and understand what their need. And the last phase, post-purchase phase. Many companies or many salespeople believe that this doesn't belong to the buyer process because we already sold the product. But I highly recommend implement this to the buyer process, because in the post-purchase phase, we can do upsell and cross-sell. And obviously this will guide the client through another multiple steps, through another buyer process, and we need to be aware of that. We need to be able to tap into those steps, again, position ourselves as a consultant and upsell them or cross-sell them. So guys, now what I would like to mention, when I already described you about the buyer process, what kind of steps buyer does before they buy from you, I want to quickly mention about the sales process. I was mentioning about this many times, but now I want to mention about this because the buyer process needs to align with your sales process. What do I mean? You need to figure out the sales process in the way that you will understand what steps buyer take, and then in each stage what you will provide him. So let's say you generate lead. How you generate the lead? What information you need to provide to prospect? How you approach them? Where is the prospect? What kind of information they're looking for, and things like that. This all information belong to the buyer process, and then you can take them and implement them into the sales process. So then salespeople, they know what to do. Additionally, you probably can understand now that there will be a lot of activities for the marketing people. They will create the content, they will do landing pages and other stuff. So guys, now what you need to do with this information? Basically, step number one, draft out buyer process or buyer journey. Write down what kind of stages buyer going through. In these stages, what they do and what question they ask themselves. Why? Because the question what they ask themselves, it will be the phrases that they will type into the Google, or phrases that they will be searching for in any other places. If you know those phrases, you can actually create the content based on those phases. Number two, when you understand on the already buyer process, adjust your sales process. Adjust to match with the buyer process. Number three, what I highly recommend is to discuss with your existing clients about the steps they taken before they make decision to work with you. Basically, your current client or the past client, they are the best source of information. Even though actually the better will be the clients who already finished project with you, because they will be really open to share with you the information. And if you have a good relation, you can go back to them, ask them multiple questions, ask them, for instance, how they why they decided to work with you, why they didn't decide to work with somebody else. Did they try to research other companies? Why they decide to buy from you? All of this information would be extremely important. So guys, that's it. You already know that the average buying time from the buyer, it's around 3 months for the IT industry, IT services. You already also know what steps the buyer is taking to buy product from you. Last thing, what I would like to ask you, if you like this content, please just press like button and subscribe to our channel. But also, if you are interested in the global expansion, I encourage you to join and follow our page, where we share a lot of information about global expansion, but also we will be creating over there closed group. All followers who follow that page will get the information as a first about opening of our group of entrepreneurs, global entrepreneurs. And then you can join as a first and share your experience, grow your network, and belong to our amazing group. Thank you so much for your time, and I see you in the next episode. This is Go Global Asia podcast. See you again.